Hello and welcome to the Antiquarian Outlook for week 28, starting July 6th, 2026. I'm Spencer W. Stuart, Collections Advisor. For more information on my services, follow the links below. But on to last week's results. We'll begin with a few sales from week 27. The first is Christies, America at $250. There were 26 lots offered, of which 24 sold, making for a 92% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 3. This printed engraving by Paul Revere, The Bloody Massacre Perpetrated in King Street, Boston, March 5th, 1770. Estimates were set at $300,000 to $500,000 US, realizing $381,000 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 1. This letterpress broadside of the Tea Act from 1773. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000 US, realizing just below $178,000 US. Still with week 27, Wednesday, Christies had a continuation of the Jim Irsay collection. There were 56 lots offered, of which all of them sold. Highest price realized was Lot 8, a letter written by George Washington to Thomas Jefferson. Estimates were set at $1 million to $2.5 million, realizing just below $2.8 million US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 6, a letter penned by George Washington activating the Culper spy ring. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000 US, realizing just above $209,000 US. Still with week 27 and Wednesday, Bonham's had fine books and manuscripts. There were 179 lots offered, of which 154 sold, making for an 81% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 60, this fourth edition of the works of Shakespeare from 1685. Estimates were set at £60,000 to £80,000, realizing just above £121,000. On to Thursday from week 27. PBA Galleries had books in all fields. There were 303 lots offered, of which 292 sold, making for a 96% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 180. This carte de visite of Miss Governor Dominis, a Hawaiian chiefess, done between 1870 to 1880. Estimates were set at $10 to $100 US, realizing just above $1,600. A lot that exceeded expectation was 180. Geo Dominis, Governor of the island of Oahu, again a carte de visite, done between 1870 to 1880. Estimates set again at $10 to $100 US, realizing $1,000. Now on to week 28. Tuesday, Ader had photography books. There were 244 lots offered, of which 114 sold, making for a 47% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 4, Cartier-Bresson's The Europeans from 1955. Estimates were set at 800 to 1,200 euros, realizing 1,200. A buy-in of note, Lot 139, Takanashi's Towards the City from 1974. Estimates were set at 3,000 to 4,000 euros. Still with Tuesday, Sotheby's had Shelf Life. There were 155 lots offered, of which 152 sold, making for a 98% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 5, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice in 3 volumes, published in 1813. Estimates were set at £50,000 to £70,000, realizing just above $121,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 16, an autograph sketch by Beethoven. Estimates were set at £150,000 to £200,000. On to Wednesday, Christie's had valuable books and manuscripts, including Cartography. There were 172 lots offered, of which 141 sold, making for an 82% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 22. This illuminated manuscript from between 1290 to 1310, outlining the story of the Holy Grail. Estimates were set at £1.5 million to 2, realizing just above £2.2 million. A buy-in of note, Lot 129, Kepler's Astronomia from 1906 in first edition. Estimates were set at £300,000 to £400,000. Next sale, Guico had Art and Literature of the 20th Century. There were 333 lots offered, of which 260 sold, making for a 78% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 281, a modern school portrait of a settler in red chalk. Estimates were set at 60 to 80 euros, realizing 9,620. We must have missed something here. A buy-in of note, Lot 196, a significant collection of Typographica journal from Czechoslovakia, printed between 1920 through to 1930. Estimates were set at 1,200 to 1,500 euros. A lot that exceeded expectation was 204, a large collection of old black and white engravings. Estimates were set at 200 to 300 euros, realizing 8,450. Next sale, RR Auctions had America's 250th anniversary. There were 76 lots offered, of which 45 sold, making for a 59% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 8026, a promissory note penned by Benjamin Franklin, constituting the final installment of the final loan of the Revolutionary War. Bidding was set to start at $250,000 US, realizing just above $484,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 8033, the iconic forced print of the Declaration of Independence. Bidding was set to start at $20,000, realizing $85,500. On to Thursday, Sotheby's had books, manuscripts, and music. There were 105 lots offered, of which 79 sold, making for a 75% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 4. The Pelican Hours, done between $1,490 and $1,500. Estimates were set at £40,000 to £60,000, realizing $96,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 91. An autographed manuscript by Charles Gounod from 1873. Estimates were set at £40,000 to £60,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 14. This illuminated leaf from the Book of Hours from 1420 through to 1425. Estimates were set at £8,000 to £12,000, realizing just above $51,000. Next sale, PBA Galleries had rare and antiquarian books, The Occult. There were 421 lots offered, of which 227 sold, making for a 66% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 28. This Aldine Press volume from 1520 through to 1521. Estimates were set at $2,000 to $3,000, realizing $20,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 267. Pavier's The Faithful Shepherd, bound with Shepherd's Practice from 1621. Estimates were set at $5,000 to $8,000. Next sale, Freeman's had Western manuscripts and miniatures. There were 64 lots offered, of which 38 sold, making for a 59% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 36. Master of the Lee Hours, done in southern Netherlands between 1450 and 1470. Estimates were set at $900,000 to $100,000, realizing just above $115,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 25. This Austrian manuscript, done between 1150 through to 1175. Estimates were set at $150,000 to $200,000. Next sale, Potter & Potter Auctions had summer fine books and manuscripts. There were 703 lots offered, of which 594 sold, making for an 84% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 391. A Simmelbond of 8 19th century booklets about Bunker Hill, done between 1819 through to 1875. Estimates were set at $300 to $500, realizing just below $11,500. A buy-in of note, Lot 402. This Treatise on Skepticism from 1621. Estimates were set at $3,500 to $5,500. A lot that exceeded expectation was 39. A third printing of Martin Luther King's Letter from Birmingham Jail, published in 1963. Estimates were set at $300 to $500, realizing just above $3,000. Well, those were the weeks from here. What did you think of last week's results? Anything surprise you? Anything you had your eye on? Please make sure to put some comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going till next week. Remember, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and let others know about this program. In the news, registration is now open for the August sessions of Collecting Insights at the Expanding and Legacy levels. As always, registrants receive a complimentary copy of contemporary issues and rare books and manuscript collecting. If you have any questions about the program, please get in touch with us directly. We look forward to hearing from you. Also, for a hyperlinked list of next week's auctions we have an eye on, please also get in touch with us directly. The Antiquarian Outlook is totally independent. Its producers do not hold inventory, nor do they represent any consignments or acquisitions mentioned. Thanks again for tuning in. All for now, and we'll see you next week.